where I think I pressed the power button by mistake. So this video, I'm going to um, try to explain to y'all why I think having neither of these quarterbacks that's coming up in this draft is not going to matter. Um, as I previously said in my other live that I deleted it, um, if you go back and look at the 2012 draft class with Drew Lock, with Andrew Luck and RG3, obviously both of them had different paths. Andrew Luck had to leave the NFL or had to retire from the NFL. I don't know if it was due to CTE or concussions, or maybe he just fell out of love of the NFL. Maybe he didn't appreciate the NFL anymore because it was going in a different direction. Can't really sack the quarterback, so on and so forth. RG3, on the other hand, stuck around, right? He bounced on a few teams. He went from the Redskins to the Browns to the Ravens, I believe, and then after that, he called it quits. Um, so yeah. Um, but looking back at Eli Manning's rookie year, we all know he did not have a great rookie year. You know what I'm saying? Um, but he learned from it fast. The reason why he learned from it fast. Oh, and shout out to Kid Blue 27. The reason why um, the reason why he bounced back real fast is because, for one, he had culture, he had support. You know, like yeah, Giants fans are happy that the Giants are finally getting their quarterback, and y'all don't have to deal with Daniel Jones anymore. But if you really look at this team, if you really look at this team is still not a finished product. It really isn't. I think the only glimmer of hope y'all have is the O line. We don't have a great pass rush. Our secondary is not good, even though we lead the league in sacks. We lead the NFL in sacks. I don't know how many sacks we have, but we lead the league in sacks, which is crazy. Um, but I don't think a quarterback is going to fix the issue that we have, because I think it's more than a quarterback issue that we have. I know I understand we do need a quarterback, but I don't think that's what the NFL, I mean, not the NFL, I don't think that's what the New York Giants actually is concerned about. Because again, both both the Colts and the Redskins went from worst to best. You know, um, both of them, obviously, um, both of them obviously went from worst to first. Both of them won their division. Both of them won or lost their playoff games, or at least got to the playoffs. Um, so again, now I'm looking at um, the 2004 New York Giants. Now, obviously, they finished 6-10 under Tom Coughlin. Um, the offensive coordinator at the time was John. The defensive coordinator at the time was Tim Lewis. So the players that they got was Kurt Warner, Tiki Barber, Jim Finn, Ike Hillard, Anami Toomer, Jeremy Shockey, Luke Pettigrew, Jason, Sean O'Hara, Chris Snee. On the defensive side, they have Michael Strahan, Norman Hand, Fred Robbins. If I could go down, Keith Washington, Carlos Amuns, Kevin Lewis, Barrett Green, Will Allen, Will Peterson. I remember Will Peterson. Gabriel Wilson and Brent Alexander. Okay. Um, Now you can say, well, what does this have to do with Eli? It's called structure, my friends. It's called structure. When you don't have structure on your team, it shows. Right now, this team don't have an identity. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they are. Right? Like, why did we handpick Brian Dable? Because of what he did with Josh Allen. Now, obviously, Josh Allen is still flourishing. He obviously isn't missing a beat. So it has to be the common denominator, you know? Because usually, once you take a great offensive coordinator from a quarterback, they kind of struggle, or they typically struggle, right? They typically struggle. Not Josh Allen. Josh Allen hasn't struggled. Since Brian Dable left Buffalo, he has not struggled whatsoever. There's been talks about, oh, how will, Josh Allen, fare this and that without, his ultimate guru, offensive coordinator. Nope, haven't missed a beat, you know? So again, once you don't have structure, it's hard, you know. And especially with the New York Giants, this quarterback is going to go into this roster with, like, damn, like, what the hell I got myself into, you know. They're giving me the keys to the city to fix this. At least Eli Manning had time, and he had support, and he had a culture around him. This quarterback that's coming, first of all, he's coming into a quarterback. He's coming into a quarterback that don't have any quarterback. He's not going to learn anything from Drew Lock. He's damn sure ain't going to learn anything from Tommy DeVito. Tim Boyle. I mean, don't even get me started. Okay, so first of all, right off the bat, he's coming into this New York Giants draft, or this New York Giants quarterback room that's just been shell shot. Okay, we don't have great running backs. We have subpar receivers outside of Malik Neighbors, but he has to learn how to catch the ball if he wants to obviously say, "Oh, they're not throwing my way, but when we do throw it your way, you fumble the ball." You know what I'm saying? Or not really fumble the ball, but you don't catch it when your name is called, but you be complaining about not getting touches. Like, make it make sense. But anyways, so from 2004, like I said, they finished 6-10. The next following year, okay, this is 2004. 2005, they actually had a better year. Okay, so just like the Colts, just like the Redskins, just like the Giants in 2004, the Giants went from the Giants went 6-10 from 2004 to 11-5 in 2005. Now, they did lose in the wild card game, 23-0. Okay. Um, Now, obviously, Kurt Warner was out. Eli Manning was the guy for the job. Tiki Barber was in his 8th year. Okay. Obviously, they still had Tiki Barber. They still had Jim Finn, who I remember. They traded for Plaxico Burress. They had Tomer, they had Shockey, they had Luke Pettigrew. They drafted David Deal, Sean O'Hara, Chris Snee, Raheem McKenzie, Michael Strahan. They drafted OC, Kendrick Clancy, OC, Reggie Tuber. They traded for Antonio Pierce. They had Nick Grisson. They had Will Allen. They had Curtis. They had Jabril. They had Jabril Wilson, and then they still have Brent Alexander. So they did not have a great Eli Manning. Like I said, Eli Manning did not have a great rookie year, but he learned under Kurt Warner, who obviously went on to do better for himself as well. He led the Cardinals to the Super Bowl, even though he didn't win it. He still led them there. And then after that, 2006, we went from 11-5 to okay. So we kind of fell back a little bit. So we went from 11-5 to 8-8. We finished 8-8 in 2006. And then 2007, 8, 9, we all know how great Eli Manning was for those years. Okay. So the way I see it, can a quarterback elevate a team? Yes. Yes, they can. Can a quarterback elevate their team? Yes. But again, you need structure, you need a culture around them. All these giants, content creators be telling you lies about how, oh, we need a quarterback. Yes, the Giants do need a quarterback, obviously. That's a no brainer. But the key is what they're not telling you is the C word, culture. We need culture. We don't have any culture. 2004, we went 6-10. 2005, we went 11-5. Even though we got blown out against Carolina, we still made the playoffs. It was a building block. 2006, we fell back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like we fell back a little bit. 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The rest is history. Those were Eli Manning's greatest years. He had like I think a 4-year stretch from 2007 all the way to 2012. He had a 4-year stretch where he was great. He was constantly third in MVP votes. Or fourth. So yes, it's great that we do have this pick. But if you look at teams who went from worst to best, just like the 49ers a couple of years ago, they tore down everything. They rebuilt everything. They fired their head coach. They fired their owner. They fired the GM. Obviously, what's his name? What's his name? I forgot his name. But he's obviously the GM for the 49ers now. Um, but I remember years back, not years back, but they they obviously blew it up. They blew it up, and obviously they hired brand new head coach, brand new owner, brand new GM. And now look at them. Um, they're still a great team. They just need to figure out their quarterback situation because they have gone through so many good quarterbacks over the years, or they haven't really replaced obviously Joe Montana or Steve Young. They tried, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, they just have that aura about them. Like they can never get their quarterback right, you know? Um, but again, the Giants need structure. Okay. The Giants need structure. It's not always about a quarterback. because a quarterback can go into a dysfunctional team and turn out to be RG3. No, 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 no. I'll take that back. A quarterback could go into a dysfunctional team and turn out to be Jamarcus Russell or Jason Campbell. Nah, actually, Jason Campbell wasn't really that bad. Jason Campbell was not really that bad. But you get my point. Teams like the New York Giants need structure. They really do. Okay. We don't have a good running game. Shador or Cam Ward is going to go into this situation like, okay, like what do I do? What do I do here from now on? Or what do I do here from now on? Do I have the better? Do I get a better offensive coordinator? Do I get a coordinator that's going to maximize my potential? You know what I'm saying? Um, am I going to get a better running game? Can I have a decent running game? When Eli Manning came here, he had Tiki Barber. That was good enough. You know, he had a good fullback in Jim Finn. He had excellent receivers. Uh, Anami Toomer. Obviously, they traded for Plexico Burris. They made a few trades. Obviously getting beefer up front, getting better supporting cast on the defensive end, on the defensive side. Um, drafting Justin Tuck, drafting OC, you know, like the Giants just knew what they had to do to surround Eli Manning with weapons, and they did that. I mean, obviously, it showed. He brought them two Super Bowl rings. He brought them two Super Bowl rings. So my problem is with this issue is I'm great that the NFL or the New York Giants are in the position that they are because you can't f it up, like you can't f it up like the Cleveland Browns, who had like what 13, 14 draft picks and they whiffed them on all of them. You can't fumble the ball, you know. Now, again, the New York Giants don't have to draft Shador or Cam. There's a lot of good talent out there besides those two in the quarterback aspect. You know, you can go to Milrose, you could go to Josh Beck, you could go to um, Ridley. You could go to all these different great quarterbacks because each quarterback in this draft class is great in their own right, in their own right. Some might have bigger arms than others. Some might have faster legs than others. Others might not able to process well than others. So you have you have mismatches all around the board. Not all of these quarterbacks are polished. Like Teddy Bridgesky said something about spraying these quarterbacks or spraying perfumes on these quarterbacks to make them smell good. Like they're not gonna smell good, you know. Like I'm pretty sure Cam Ward have XQs. I'm pretty sure Shadur Sanders have a lot of XQs. Um, I'm pretty sure all these quarterbacks are not polished. You know, like Giants fans want a quarterback, but what is he going to? What structure is he going to? Is he going to a structure that's going to utilize his talents week one or year one, or is he going to a franchise that's just going to burn him out and he's going to be out the league by year three? He's going to be burned out by year 4, 5, 6. So again, the Giants are doing this the wrong way. For one, fix this team before this draft even starts. By the end of the season, fix this team. Okay, draft well, do well, or not do well, but just draft well for this quarterback to come in here ready to go. Have a decent backup quarterback. Okay, for one, the Giants do not have a good quarterback system whatsoever. They have actually three bum quarterbacks. Okay, that the rookie is not going to learn anything from or behind. They're going to rush him in there. He's going to get hurt and probably he's going to be out for the year. And the Giants are probably going to be doomed again. Because before Kurt Warner left, we signed Kurt Warner. I mean, we signed David Carr, who wasn't really a bad backup. He was a decent backup. He was a backup that could go in there and win you games, you know. But obviously, he never saw the field unless it was like a blowout. Then outside of that, yeah, he had some few not rookie. He had some few preseason games that he played. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time he will probably see the field if it's a blowout. If it's like 41-17 or something like that, he might come in the last 2 minutes and just clean up. You know what I'm saying? Just give the ball off a couple of times, pass like medium routes and stuff like that. We had a decent backup in David Carr, not his brother, but obviously David Carr, who was a number one draft pick, by the way, but the Texans gave him so much money that I think they gave him like a 7 year, 90 million, something like that. It was crazy. I think it was like 7 years, 74 million. Like he just couldn't live up to that hype, so he just crashed, and he was always viewed as a backup. But his brother, on the other hand, got obviously lucky. But even he sucks. So I think he was way better than his brother. It's not even a question. I think he was way better than his brother. But again, he was a decent backup for us, and that's what we need. You know, um, do we have great running backs? You know, no, we don't. We don't have great running backs. Do we have a good receiving core? No. Because all of them be dropping passes. Um, do we have a great defense to hang our hat on, even though we're ranked first in sacks? Um, we're ranked first in sacks, but some of the games, obviously, this year tell you otherwise. You know, do we have a great front? Do we have a great secondary? Do we have great linebackers? So all these things factor. You do not want to be the Cleveland Browns or the Jets. Okay, you don't want to be those franchises. You just don't want to be those franchises that just throw the rookie in there and see what he can do. No, without any support, any culture, anything. Like I'm telling you, from experience, we had a quarterback that obviously the quarterback that we had before he went on to obviously he had like a few scholarships. He went on to go to that university, and we had to start all the way from scratch. So the quarterback that was there, he was cool, what I'm saying, got along with everybody, but he was not good at all. He was like a 6 year old. He was like a 69 overall in Madden. That's how bad he was. But we didn't know that until probably like week 3 in my high school football team. Um, but he was bad. He was bad. And that was until our backup quarterback, who was actually good at the time, but we just didn't know it. Um, he got in there, and he scored us a couple of touchdowns, even though we lost that game. We saw something in him. We had something in him. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, he became our full starter, and the rest was history. Uh, but we have to have structure. We have to have culture. We have to have some type of balance, you know? Like again, I know a lot of people want the quarterback, but if we don't, or not we, but if the Giants do not have what they need, what like come on. Like if the O line doesn't do what their job, or if the O line doesn't do their job by creating holes and making the running back run through them, it's gonna set the quarterback back, and then he's gonna have to force the throw because he's new. You know, the quarterback that we're picking, he's gonna be new to all this. Some might flourish, others might struggle. It happens, you know. Like Cam Ward might pick up the playbook faster than Shadur Sanders. The scheme, the tempo might be faster than Cam Ward, or the scheme and the tempo might suit Cam Ward better because he played in that SEC, you know, jungle, you know. So he's been with a lot of great teams, and like it kind of prepares him. Again, you go back and look at the Panthers when they drafted Cam Newton. What was their record looking like that year before? So, yes, you're going to have teams that draft quarterbacks and have a significant bounce back year. But it all has to do with one thing: culture. You have to put culture around that quarterback. You do not want this rookie quarterback to come in here and have to face the same crap that Daniel Jones had to face, right? You don't want that. Or Eli Manning his last few years where he was just constantly getting sacked, bad offensive line, even though we drafted two. Obviously, two of them didn't really pan out. You do not want that. You want this quarterback to come in here week one, have everything prepared, you know, just like how we had to let go of Kurt Warner, give Eli Manning the keys, let him figure it out. He has some years underneath his belt and he flourished. And again, yes, he did have a bad rookie year, but he bounced back from that. From 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He had a very, I would probably say, he had an 8-year stretch where he was great. From 2007 all the way to 2012, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he had a 6-year stretch where he was great. After he took the keys from Kurt Warner, because Kurt Warner was stinking it up. So Tom Coughlin decided, and obviously this was Tom Coughlin's first year, Jerry Reese's first year. You know what I'm saying? So they obviously, built, they obviously went from scratch, got a new GM, got a new head coach, so it was kind of like this scenario that we have right now, but a lot of people want Joe Shane and Brian Dable gone, you know, because if you're going to fire one, you might as well fire the other one, right? But what does that tell the locker room? You know, like first of all, they really never had a chance to develop their own quarterback. Daniel Jones wasn't their quarterback. There was kind of handicapped with Daniel Jones, because of what he did that season. They obviously won a playoff game, so obviously you had to reward him because he did something that he was supposed to do. You know, we thought we was going in the right direction with Daniel Jones, but he just started to digress and digress and digress, and it was just bad. He went from being somebody that we think that was the answer to, oh my God, this guy stinks, or like It was just not meant to be, even though he went to the same, you know, tutelage in Peyton Manning, under Peyton Manning and Eli, he was no Manning, you know. Um, Now the good news is in the next 2 years, Archie Manning will be available for the NFL draft, or I think yeah, so 2026 he'll be eligible for the draft. Now a lot of people do want Archie Manning on the New York Giants, but just because your last name is Manning doesn't mean that you're going to produce. He may not even be anything like Eli, or he might probably be Peyton, or he might probably be just himself. So we don't know what we're going to get from Archie Manning if we decide to go in a different direction in next year's draft. Because just like how every New York Giants fans might be sold on Shador or Cam, like I said, none of these quarterbacks are polished, man. None of these quarterbacks are polished. You know, if this was like 10 years ago, 13 years ago, 23 years ago, we don't know what these quarterbacks might have been like, you know, going to these bad teams, have to, play Superman, like things have changed, you know, quarterbacks have changed, quarterbacks gotten bigger, faster, stronger. Um, the system that they play in is more symptomatic. They don't really gotta, you know, overthink or overanalyze things. Like college is the same way the NFL is now. Just like how college basketball is the same thing as the NBA. Like it's really nothing different. Spread offense, have probably like five or six or four good receivers, have a decent running game, a good defense, and you should be good. You should be up there with the Lions and the Packers and the Eagles. But we don't have that. We do not have that. So um, time will tell. Um, time will tell. Now, who do I want? Like I said, I don't care. I don't care. Because first of all, look what he's coming into. He's gonna be asked to play Superman, and then he's gonna wind up getting hurt. Probably gonna be out for like a couple of weeks, and then what? You know. So again, you fix the culture first, and then you bring in the quarterback. You don't bring a quarterback into a burning house and expect him to stay there. You bring a quarterback into a nice, comfortable house where he has everything, and then he will flourish. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to y'all. Y'all can think whatever y'all want to think. Y'all think that this quarterback is gonna come in here and just kill it. Y'all dead wrong. You know, um, structure, culture, it matters. It matters. Um, it matters. So y'all take it whatever. Y'all take it how y'all want to take it. If y'all think a quarterback is gonna come here week 1 and just ball out, you're gonna be sadly mistaken because they're gonna need everything. They need everything to be right. You know, like I don't think y'all understand what I'm saying. They need everything to be right because if they go into this team and the team is still the same as it was when Daniel Jones was here, he's not going to flourish. He's going to struggle. I don't care if it's Cam. I don't care if it's Shador. I don't care if it's Melrose. I don't care if it's Beck. they're going to struggle because they don't have that structure, they don't have that support, especially the play calling. Now, I do believe the New York Giants are not like other franchises. They're not gonna up and fire somebody because the fans want them to be fired. Like I said in my other video or in my other live, these owners don't owe y'all anything. That's the funny thing. These owners do not owe y'all anything. What do these owners owe y'all? Nothing. Y'all come to them. They don't come to y'all. Y'all buy these $500, $6 seats. Y'all buy these, merchandises. That's all money into their pocket. That's all that money is going straight to their pocket. And then they use that money to either fix the stadium or they use that money to, pay the players or, et cetera, et cetera. So y'all doing them a favor, and then at the end of the day, y'all gonna be poor as hell, broke. No, not really poor, but y'all gonna be broke, waiting for your next paycheck just to do the cycle all over again. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, y'all get to spend the money on what y'all want to spend. I'm not saying what to do with y'all money. It's y'all hard on money, y'all earn it, but at the same time, why waste it on season tickets? Like, I mean, you got my Knicks, who's doing actually pretty good. You know, like if you in the New York area, you might as well spend your money on the Knicks or on the Bills if you're a Bills fan, or especially just basketball. If you're just a basketball and football fan, just spend money on the New York Knicks. At least you'll get your money's worth. But you constantly expecting something different, like we're tanking. We're not supposed to lose. Like, I'm not saying that for us to just lay down and take it. Like, we'll fight, we'll score some points, but we're not supposed to lose, or we're not supposed to win. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, if y'all gonna spend your hard-earned money, at least spend on something that's gonna be worth your while. At least spend it on hockey tickets or NBA, or go to a WWE main event or do something. Like, why y'all constantly buying NFL tickets knowing that the Giants are going to do the same product? They're going to throw the same product out there almost every single game until the season is over. Now, I will say that Eagles game is probably going to be tricky because obviously it's the last game of the season, and obviously the Eagles are probably going to have everything wrapped up, and their starters may not even play. Now, will that change anything if the Giants win? Probably not. If the Giants do somehow do what, like if the Giants do beat the Eagles week 17 or week 18, that might probably pull them down to like probably 3 or 2. That's if they win, which I think they will win because, like I said, I think the Giants starters are better than the Eagles backups. I really do. Now, last year they didn't play their backups. They actually played their starters just to get the momentum, because next Saturday obviously is the playoffs, and they just trying to get that rust, because you don't want to go into the playoffs all rusty, you know, because that's what Tom Coughlin wanted to do. Remember, they was trying to tell him to sit out his players. They don't need to play for this. And guess what? Tom Coughlin wind up playing his players, and that made a huge factor. That made a huge factor for them to play and at least show the Patriots that we're right there with you. Even though they lost, it was a high scoring game, but at the end, we gave the Patriots a run for their money. And if we ever were to face them again, the outcome would have probably been different. And it was, you know what I'm saying? Um, so yes, I do believe the Eagles are probably going to start are probably going to play their starters probably their first two quarters, and then after that they might probably pull everybody and just get ready for the playoffs next Saturday. Um, but yeah, that's the only game that I have concern about. But other than that, we're not beating the Colts. We're not beating the Falcons. So yeah, that last game is probably going to be a little tricky one. This depending on who our quarterback is, because we like to rotate quarterbacks a lot. First it was Drew Lock, then it was no. First it was Tommy DeVito, and then it was Drew Lock. Now it's Tim Boyle. Who knows? Probably maybe Tim Boyle is the answer. I mean, obviously he played he played surprisingly against the Ravens. Against that defense, he played surprisingly well. Um, I think he finished with like 92 yards or 94 yards or 96 yards and a touchdown, no picks. So he actually played pretty well. Maybe he is the answer. Who knows? If he can play like that the rest of the games or the next of the few games, which I hope he does not, put put luck, not luck, put Lock back there or Tommy DeVito. Um, but both of them are banged up right now, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna get the green light. But yeah, man, like I said, it doesn't really matter the quarterback that comes here because at the end of the day, two things are certain. This quarterback is either going to come here and fail miserably, get hurt, probably be out for the season, just like how JJ McCarthy was. Remember, he was a highly I he was a highly prospect coming out of Michigan. Yeah, coming out of Michigan, which the Giants could have picked. The Giants could have made the same exact mistake that they did, but obviously they picked a wide receiver who really didn't do anything for us at all. Drop passes, barely got 1,000 yards. Now, obviously, these next few games, he might probably get 1,000 yards. I don't know where he's at right now in terms of yards, but in terms of touchdown, he has 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns in this season. Now you can say, "Oh, Odell Beckham Jr. had a better rookie year," but again, competition, and I always bring that up. Competition is key. If you go back and look at Odell Beckham Jr.'s rookie year 10 years ago, he had no competition. He really don't. Yeah, he had a few receivers in his draft class, but none of them took off like he did. None of them took off like he did, you know? And despite him winning play of the game and rookie of the year, guess what? The Giants finished 6-10. Like I tell you, it's a curse winning that like any award that you win, it's always going to be a curse. Whether it's the Super Bowl, Coach of the Year, Play of the Year, play a comeback Play of the Year, whatever. Like the year after that, it's always going to be a curse. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings. Like as soon as Smeagol put that ring on, like he just got it more ants and more vicious and more evil. Like that ring is evil. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I'm glad that Malik Neighbors didn't win Rookie of the Year. Give that to somebody else. Like Hakeem, as good as Hakeem Nicks was, and he was good, he never won Rookie of the Year. Eli Manning never won Rookie of the Year. But you know what? You know what was more important? Those Super Bowl rings. And yeah, Saquon Barkley winning Rookie of the Year. Guess what? He tore his leg the next following year. I think it was against the Bears. So you know, Brian Dable winning Coach of the Year. After that, he just had a abysmal season after that. So again, I just think winning these awards are just fake, you know? Like they don't really I mean, it's good to win them, but at the end of the day, it's the price. It's a price you have to pay, you know? Just like, the 49ers winning all those Super Bowls, you know? Now, again, the 49ers been constantly knocking on the door. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 times in the last 10 years. They've been there twice and they lost twice. Different quarterbacks, same result. It's like they can never get their quarterback. They're probably going to be like the Browns, the Jets, those teams where they can never get the quarterback right, which is sad. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'm sorry if I don't see y'all commenting because YouTube. I don't know what YouTube. YouTube sent me like an email saying that they're gonna take away some of my special features. So even though I don't see y'all comment, I can see y'all popping in and out. Just give this video like, like probably like 10 likes, 13, 15, 16, 17 likes. It really helps share. Until I could get my, you know, stuff back, you know, um, I won't probably see y'all comments. I can't really pin anything anyways. So YouTube took away some special features. So why I don't know. Um, but yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.